There is new information as the PGA Board of Directors has decided to remove Ted Bishop as PGA president. This after he referred to Ian Poulter as a little girl on two social media accounts following Poulter's criticism of Nick Faldo and Tom Watson as Ryder Cup captains. I'm John Brickley with your latest ESPN headline. Let's bring in ESPN.com senior golf writer Bob Herring with more on this story. And Bob, this decision came down very quickly. I know that Bishop only had a month remaining in his tenure as president. What's your reaction to Ted Bishop being let go as PGA president?
I think it's sort of a message from the PGA of America that that they take it seriously, even something said maybe in jest or in anger on social media. I mean, the comment about little girls is it's demeaning. It's insensitive. The PGA of America caters to women also, and it's also just unbecoming to get into a spat such as this over what Poulter wrote in a book. He's entitled to his opinion, and so is Ted Bishop, but I think there's a better way to handle it, and that's sort of the message that they're conveying here.
Vice President Derek Sprague has been named as the interim president right now. What's the likelihood that tag gets removed for Sprague, or is there a likely candidate elsewhere?
No, he will become the next president. That was the hierarchy, the pecking order. November 22nd is when they were going to change over. So he's basically going to assume the role here until it becomes official at their annual meeting in a few weeks' time.
This has surrounded so much of the Ryder Cup. We saw the issue between Tom Watson and Phil Mickelson after the Americans lost to the Europeans. Now this is the latest chapter in this rivalry. How much has this intensified the Ryder Cup in years ahead?
Well, I think what it shows is how important the Ryder Cup is. How emotional it is, how volatile it is. It's supposed to be an exhibition of goodwill, and it's become a testy environment. It's one where losing has been difficult on the Americans, and Phil's comments that night that were indirectly critical of Watson, the subsequent stories that came out that we reported about how there was some animosity towards Watson, how he didn't handle things particularly well, at least according to some of the witnesses who were there. It all just sort of shows that losing this has become a big deal, that the Americans do care. And on the European side, Poulter was referring to the one loss that Europe has had in the last 15 years. And he was critical of Faldo, who had actually called out Sergio Garcia, who had the bad Ryder Cup in 2008. It does just sort of point out what a big deal the Ryder Cup is, and obviously going forward, it does look to get calmed down, even though it's still 2 years away. One
of the great exhibitions in all of sports. ESPN.com senior golf writer Bob Herring with the very latest as Ted Bishop fired as PGA president. For the latest on this story, keep it here to ESPN.com. I'm John Brickley with your latest ESPN headline.